Welcome to episode 4 of Commissioner on a Couch. This week, as usual, I'll recap last week's action, then we'll take a quick break before the weekly spotlight, and finally I'll take a look at tomorrow's matchups. Weekly recap. How's the air down there versus Warriors 55? The Warriors got a huge victory last week behind the leg of Robbie Gould, and thanks to an outstanding performance by the New York Jets defense against the winless Miami Dolphins. At 3-3, the 55ers now find themselves in a three-way tie for the division lead in the Budge Bandit Warriors division, which is a prime example of the parity in the league this season. On the other hand, the Air has now slipped to last place in the division and has undergone a noticeable name change, probably to try and spark a winning streak. Oak Nation versus It's So Fluffy. What else is there to say besides, I told you so. Called this upset in last week's episode, and after a close 118-103 victory by Oak Nation, it came true. Now both teams are 3-3 and occupy the 5th and 6th playoff spots respectively, but I think this victory meant a lot more to Oak Nation because of upcoming back-to-back bye weeks for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Hello versus Camp By Experience. As I suspected, Camp By Experience had a bit of an off week, with two of their players getting 0 points. But Hello wasn't able to capitalize and lost by a slim 93-85 margin. Experience now leads the league with a 5-1 record and continues to impress, whereas Hello finds himself in 8th place and on the outside of the playoffs. Coco's Finest versus Average JPs. A potentially season-ending injury to Jason Campbell early in last weekend's Raiders game allowed Coco to rope in the JPs 124-117. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed by the point output by both of Coco's running backs, Michael Turner and Fred Jackson, who combined for 47 points last weekend. All that being said, Coco is still in last place in the league, but now they are only one game out of the playoffs. And as for the JPs, they relinquished the division lead, but they still find themselves with a comfortable 4-2 record. Redskin Warriors versus Stingers. The Stingers are in a free fall right now, and Andre Johnson and Antonio Gates can't come back fast enough for Mr. Breezeball's team. This week they were on the losing end of the Toyota biggest blowout of the week. They lost 110-81 against the always consistent Redskin Warriors, who now lead the Budge Bandit Warriors division, even though they only have a 3-3 record. The only positive right now for the Stingers is that they won the Tim Tebow waiver wire sweepstakes.
Have you been struggling with your weight loss? If so, buy Sportech 905 high-tech air cycle exercise bike today, and you could go from looking like this
to looking like this.
Woo! It really works! I'm even a wrestling champ!
For 3 low payments of $59.99, call now and you'll get free shipping and handling. Hope you enjoyed that commercial break, because now we're going to move on to the weekly spotlight. The weekly spotlight this week is on a team that has been in this league since its inaugural season in 2008. Hello. Here to represent the is General Manager Mr. Omar Naik. Welcome to the show, Mr. Naik. Welcome to the show. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I hope you're ready to answer some tough questions.
Yeah.
Question 1. Yourself and Camp By Experience GM Mr. Amin Etwazou just pulled off a 6-player trade, which is by far the biggest trade of the season. You're dropping Sidney Rice and sending Michael Vick and Doug Baldwin his way, while receiving Matt Schaub, Vincent Jackson, and Steven Jackson in return. What made you decide to pull the trigger?
Well, basically, you can see my team, we're tied for last place. I didn't want to lose Vic, but I'm struggling in the wide receiver position, and Amin gave me a good offer. I couldn't refuse, so I had to pull the trigger, even though I really didn't want to get rid of Rick. He's kind of my franchise player, so it sucks to lose him, but hopefully this helps out.
Alright. You think it's a bit cocky maybe of this GM to send you that many players for one-star quarterback?
I was speaking to other GMs around the league, and they were surprised that he offered me that much. I was speaking to Chris, the GM, as well. I had talks with him. We couldn't get a deal done, but I'm not sure why he gave me that many starters for Vic. Kind of felt a little sketch, but I took it because I felt like it helped my team out. I got Steven Jackson, Vincent Jackson, and a quarterback to replace Vic, obviously. So I think I could maybe pull it off, win this week. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, question 2. In 2008, you lost a heartbreaker in the finals to finish second overall in the league. That was your best finish since entering this league. And do you think this trade will give you a chance to finally get back to the promised land, maybe win the big one for the first time in your career?
Well, first of all, let's start off with a win before I talk about championships. Let's see if I can make the playoffs. I'm deciding so I'm still figuring out what players I want to start this week, but I mean, Vincent Jackson is in for sure, even though he's probable for the week, but I'm sure he'll start. But I think I pulled out Hillis because he's not really doing anything for me. He's kind of a bust this season. So Steven Jackson's in, and basically, obviously, my quarterback position is set, and we'll see how I do this week. Hopefully it's a win.
Including the draft, what is your biggest regret of the season?
We all know what my biggest regret is. Drafting Chad Ochocinco. I think it was a second pick. I think I did or something like that. Second or third.
I think it was maybe fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth
Well, I was between Walker and him, and I got a little too cocky.
You went with your gut.
Yeah. I thought Ochocinco would get more. I didn't know he wasn't starting, and Walker. I don't know what happened. But basically, if I would have taken Walker, I would have had at least 2 wins for sure, which I lost the season.
You mean two wins more than
2 wins more, yeah, than I lost the season. But what could you do?
Now the average JPs have him, and
Yeah, well, we'll see.
all right, and finally, people associated with this league, including myself, have been butchering your team name all season long. So, tell us what the secret is, and tell us what the proper pronunciation is.
Okay, well, basically I got the name from Family Guy.
No copyright infringement intended.
Yeah, exactly. The way you pronounce it is not hello, it's hello. That's how you pronounce it. I hope everyone pronounces it right, because when you say hello, it sounds like freaking the Jersey Shore, whatever her name was.
Bye!
Yeah, exactly, so yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Thanks for doing this, and we'll see you on the gridiron. And good luck this season with your new team. All right, that was the weekly spotlight for this week. So now let's take a look ahead at next week's action. How's the air up there versus Oak Nation? Luckily for the air, one of Oak Nation's star QBs is on bye. That would be Tom Brady. So for this reason, and for this reason only, I see them taking it to the Nation this weekend. Not to mention the confidence that a fresh name change brings you. Versus Redskin Warriors. It's a completely revamped Hello squad that will be facing the Redskin Warriors this weekend. This is a good first test for the Ums because the Redskins are a very solid squad from top to bottom. But because I don't know how the chemistry will be between the new guys and the old scrubs on that team, I'm going to have to go with the Redskin Warriors in this one. Coco's Finest versus Camp By Experience. Camp By Experience is getting some street cred at the QB position by adding Michael Vick to their team, but they're also losing some consistent performers at other roster positions like Steven Jackson and Vincent Jackson, obviously. Although I think that this team still has enough depth to stay on top of the standings, getting through the bye weeks is going to be a tough task for them. So my prediction is Coco's Finest pull off a second consecutive upset against the league leaders. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid, Coco. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Stingers versus Warriors 55. Until Andre Johnson and Antonio Gates get back on the field, I don't think that I can ever pick the Stingers to win in this league. The Warriors 55 should keep rolling along this week and get their second consecutive W to move above 500 for the first time since week 1. Now you may be wondering, or you may be thinking to yourself, he forgot a game with two of the better teams in the league. And that's because, after a couple of weeks of thinking that the show was absolutely perfect, a brave soul finally made a request to yours truly to see a new segment added to Commissioner on a Couch. So with that, the Game of the Week segment has been born. The first Game of the Week honor goes to the matchup between It's So Fluffy and the Average JPs. If there's one thing that both these GMs love talking about, especially the It's So Fluffy GM, it's football. And flag football. And touch football. And water football. Any kind of football you can find, he'll talk about it with you. But anyways, for those of you that don't know, these two teams are extremely close geographically, but that's where the similarities end. Whereas It's So Fluffy tries to intimidate opponents with big plays and swagging out, the JPs prefer a finesse and slow but steady approach to the game. Don't get me wrong though, the JPs will let you hear it if they make a play on you. They'll let you hear it loud and often, even if you're a referee. I picked this game not because I think it'll be the closest one of the week, but because I think it'll be the most interesting one. I have never seen a single team have as many players on bye as the JPs. For those of you who haven't done math since high school, the number is 7. It's So Fluffy is favored to win the matchup by 46 points, actually, according to the Yahoo projections. But funny things sometimes happen in fantasy football land, and the stage is definitely set for some craziness this weekend. Anyways, all that being said, I'm a logic kind of guy, so I have to go with It's So Fluffy in this one. And I think they're going to bring down the average JPs in much the same way that the Jews brought down Jesus Christ. So that's the way I see it all shaping up for this week, boys. As always, good luck, and I'll see you next week. Double guns.